Imagine yourself in America in 1959. Highways are expanding. Gasoline is as cheap as a morning coffee, and the American dream is alive in every household. People did not just buy cars to get to work. They wanted a car that would make the entire neighborhood stop and stare. Buick understood that desire, and they delivered the Electra 225 Convertible, a drop-top as long as a city block, gleaming like a mirror, powered by a V8 heart. It was never just transportation, it was a declaration, a sign that you were living at the peak of prosperity with full faith in the future. Today, when we look back, the 1959 Electra 225 Convertible is more than just a car. It is a reflection of an era, a time when luxury and optimism knew no bounds. From its very name, Buick asserted its ambition. The number 225 was not accidental. It was the overall length of the car, 225 inches, an enormous figure in the automotive world, and it was also regarded as a symbol of extravagance, of power, of the ability to build a machine superior in both size and presence. When you drove the Electra 225 Convertible, you did not need to introduce yourself. The car did it for you. Buick also cleverly used the number 225 to distinguish the Electra from lower lines, such as the LeSabre or Invicta. It was like a message. This was not an ordinary Buick. This was Buick at a near Cadillac level, for those who wanted luxury but did not necessarily want to pay Cadillac prices. And Buick chose to assert that status through design. The rear, with its high fins sweeping upward, evoked the image of wings reaching for the sky. The dual taillights, nestled in sharp boomerang fins, made the rear look as if it were moving forward even while standing still. At the front, the grille stretched the full width, glowing with chrome bars reflecting the sunlight. The thick bumper gleamed like a confident smile. What was notable was that Buick did not let the car look heavy. The character lines running along the body gave a seamless impression, and when the soft top was lowered, the whole car resembled a luxury yacht gliding down the boulevard. It not only attracted glances, but also made those inside feel as though they were entering an entirely different world. And once you opened the door, it was like stepping into a luxurious mobile living room. The seats were upholstered in soft leather, power adjustable in 6 directions, making every push of a button feel like an indulgence. Buyers could even choose heated seats, a rare feature in the late 1950s. In front of the driver was a gently curved instrument panel, with backlighting that created a shimmering effect at night. The controls were neatly arranged, trimmed in bright metal, both modern and easy to operate. The large 2-spoke steering wheel carried the flair of the jet age, feeling solid in hand, and giving the sense that you were commanding an aircraft rather than just a car. Convenience technology was also a highlight. An AM radio with a power antenna, a Frigidaire air conditioning system capable of cooling the cabin even on sweltering summer days, power windows that slid as smoothly as silk. With the top down, the interior opened up into a vast space, enough for 4 adults to sit comfortably as on a long sofa. And everything only became perfect once the car began to roll on the special chassis GM created for it. Buick used the X-frame structure, a fresh platform in the late 1950s, allowing for a lower floor and expanded cabin space. As a result, even though the Electra 225 Convertible was nearly 19 feet long, the driver felt it floated lightly instead of feeling heavy. The coil spring suspension on all 4 wheels made the journey a smooth experience. On America's newly expanded highways, the Electra 225 was like a great sail filled with wind, simply drifting forward in comfort. The ultra-light power steering turned the task of handling this giant ship into a simple game, so easy that at times you forgot you were driving a car longer than most garages. The interesting point lay in the contradiction. The chassis design provided wonderful smoothness, but it also made the car lack stiffness in sharp turns. However, Buick's customers at the time were not seeking cornering speed. They wanted relaxation, the sound of the wind sweeping past the convertible top as the car moved straight down the boulevard, and when that calmness combined with the strength produced by the massive engine under the hood. Buick named it the Wildcat 445, and that number did not describe displacement, but the immense torque of 445 pound-feet. The true heart of the car was a 401 cubic inch V8, often called the Nailhead VIF8 for its characteristically narrow valve design. This engine produced about 325 horsepower, but what made it different was the way its power was delivered. Torque arrived very early, so this nearly 19-foot machine moved forward with authority at just a gentle press of the accelerator. The driver did not need to force the engine to scream. Everything operated smoothly and firmly, like the deep notes of a grand symphony. The Dynaflow twin-turbine transmission reinforced the car's character. This was not a gearbox for sudden bursts of speed, but for maintaining absolute continuity. No jolts, no rush, only a steady flow like a great river. This combination gave Buick's luxury convertible both strength and composure, the true nature of a gentleman of the boulevard. And to clearly see why the car became a symbol at just the right moment, we must place it in the picture of America in 1959. That was a time of prosperity, with a growing middle class, and when the automobile was not only a means of travel, but also a measure of social status. In that context, Buick decided to replace the long-standing Roadmaster with a new name, Electra, as a declaration of renewal. The new model quickly became the choice for those who wanted to assert their position without stepping straight into Cadillac. It appeared in front of hotels, at drive-in theaters, and on newly built boulevards as proof of success. Businessmen, mid-level entertainers, and families wishing to show their status all found balance in this car. What was notable was that General Motors at that time had fierce internal competition. Pontiac focused on sportiness. Oldsmobile leaned toward technology. Cadillac held the supreme position. Buick chose the middle ground, where luxury blended with practicality. And in 1959, that choice proved to be perfectly timed. When it appeared at dealerships, this luxury convertible had a starting price of about $4,300. That figure was far higher than a Chevrolet Impala convertible, which was only about $2,800. The difference was enough to let buyers know they were stepping into a completely different segment, one where luxury and comfort were placed above all else. What made the car even more special was its limited production. Only about 11,130 units were produced that year. Compared to the hundreds of thousands of Impalas or Ford Galaxies of the same era, that number was truly modest. For that reason, even when new, this model was not a common sight on the streets. It appeared more like a collectible item, even while it was still part of the regular product lineup. In addition, Buick offered many unique paint options, such as Lucerne Green, Lido Lavender, or Garnet Red, along with different interior configurations. This made each car almost a separate work of art, with very few being exactly alike. Today, the combination of its high launch price and limited production has made this model highly sought after by collectors. But to clearly understand its value, let us place it against its direct rivals of the time, and its position becomes obvious. The Cadillac Series 62 Convertible was the ultimate standard, with a larger engine and a price nearly $1,000 higher. But that difference caused many buyers to hesitate, and that was Buick's opportunity to step in. The Lincoln Continental Mark IV convertible took another path, with a longer profile and a more formal style. However, Lincoln's interior was not as refined, and the brand did not maintain quality as consistently as Buick. Meanwhile, the Chrysler Imperial Crown convertible stood out with modern amenities, but it was rare and struggled to create a strong image on the streets. At that time, the Buick Electra 225 convertible became the balanced choice. It was not as unattainable as Cadillac, not as solemn as Lincoln, and not as uncommon as Chrysler. It offered a blend of value, design, and comfort, giving owners the sense of stepping into the world of luxury while still feeling more approachable than the very top names. But as the 1960s began, Buick still kept the Electra as its flagship, yet its aura slowly faded. Cadillac continued to reinforce its position as the standard of the world, and in the eyes of many buyers, if they could afford to spend more, they chose Cadillac instead of Buick. At the same time, Buick bore a double burden, maintaining a luxury image while ensuring sales remained viable. This made the Electra's design and features increasingly safe, no longer as bold as the 1959 convertible. With each generation, the car remained large and upscale, but it grew more common, losing some of the exclusivity that created its original allure. Cadillac's shadow grew ever larger. Those who wanted absolute luxury turned to Cadillac. Those who wanted youthful sportiness went to Pontiac. Buick stood in the middle, gradually losing its distinct identity. That is why decades later, when people mention classic American luxury cars, Cadillac comes to mind first, while the Electra 225 convertible is often forgotten in memory. Today, when it appears at auctions or exhibitions, Buick's flagship convertible often surprises many. A car still with matching numbers, retaining its original interior and restored exterior to correct standards, can reach between $65,000 and $90,000. While not yet at the level of Cadillac from the same era, that figure is far above the values of more common 1950s cars. Collectors value it not only for its luxury, but also for its rarity. With just over 11,000 produced and very few surviving in original condition today, each time one appears in true 1959 form is a special moment. Many have found their way into private collections, while others belong to museums or Buick clubs across the United States. Restoring a convertible Electra is not easy. Chrome trim pieces, the unique curved instrument cluster, or the original convertible top fabric are nearly impossible to source today. That difficulty has only increased the value of those examples that remain original. More than 60 years later, Buick's luxury convertible still carries an irresistible charm. It is not just a car, but a reminder of a time when the American auto industry lived in grand dreams, an era when luxury was measured by body length, by the shine of chrome under the sun, and by the deep rumble of a V8 engine. The Electra 225 convertible proved that Buick could create a machine, both powerful and refined, both extravagant and approachable. That combination made it a true symbol of the golden era of the late 1950s. If you have ever seen or even sat in one of these cars, share your story in the comments. And if this is your first time discovering it, tell me what you think of that uniquely American style of luxury. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so we can continue this journey into the classic cars that shaped history.